Hey, Steven, what did we just watch?
I don't know. I honestly don't fucking know.
So, today, Steve and I and friends...
Focused? I can't even tell.
It's focused. Yeah, you're good. Steve and I and friend Maddie, we watched a movie called The Favorite. It is a movie about the Queen's court and them fighting over who is the favorite. It stars Emma Stone and
Rachel Weisz.
And
the lady that plays the Queen.
And the Queen. What is The Favorite about, Steven? Whatever. I actually already said what it's about. It's about...
I have no fucking clue what that was about.
Okay,
I mean, I do,
stop.
but I don't. What the fuck? What the fucking fuck? Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's pretty much what it's about. What do you think this movie got on Rotten Tomatoes?
I thought they did hella well.
Really?
Yeah, I'm assuming it got higher than 87%. Critically.
Okay, I'm gonna guess...
And I'm gonna guess the audience score is like 54.
I'm fine with that. I'm thinking that this movie probably got about an 80 on ye old critical score and like a 50 on ye old's audience score. Yeah. Boink.
$94.59. 94 critic, 59 audience.
Okay.
Fuck you, critics. Fuck you! Except for us.
One thing that is undeniable about this movie is that it's done incredibly well. So
I would agree with that.
The way they do certain shots in this movie. So the movie is entirely filmed in essentially like a palace. And everything that they shoot in that palace, they clearly were limited on space. So they utilize a lot of wide-angle shots, a lot of really, really interesting perspectives.
Use like rounded shots for...
Yeah, a lot of wide, like, angle fish lens shots. There was a lot of very, very interesting and very, very well done shots. And as you can probably tell, from Steven's reactions that they go out of their way to make this movie very uncomfortable. And one of the ways they do that is by the way it's shot. Despite the wide angle of a lot of the shots, a lot of them feel very, very claustrophobic. It's very tight, very uncomfortable. It makes you just watching it makes you feel uncomfortable. And
very.
And not only that,
the music.
The music.
Well, sometimes the music was very quaint and very nice, and then suddenly it was like some droning, repetitive note, and it was like, at that time, nothing was even happening, and the music was very unsettling.
The music is incredibly unsettling. Very well done. There's very deep, like, very, very, very somber organ sounds that go on for a long time, and it just drones out everything. It like racks the mind as it happens. It's very the music is really cool.
Okay, let me take over for a second here.
Okay,
the acting was really good. The acting was crazy good. I mean, the lady that played the Queen, Rachel Weisz, Emma Stone, Nicholas Hoult. I don't know who the fuck else was in that, but everyone was convincing, I felt like. I mean, I definitely bought it. I didn't feel like they were acting. I felt like they were living. And that's great.
They acted to the detriment of everyone else's sanity.
It was incredibly real, but surreal, and holy shit. I honestly, I don't know how to break this down. I mean, I can't. Like, I can't. I like the acting. Let me frame it this way. If you were to describe this to someone who asked you how it was and should they go see it, what would you say?
I would say to them, much like movies like Birdman, they're incredibly... I would say to people that this movie is an incredibly well done movie, but it's definitely not for everyone. I can't recommend it for everyone because it
Who would you
is
recommend it to?
people that like, very, very artsy movies.
I like artsy movies. I hated it. I didn't hate it. We saw Welcome to Marwen last week. This was far and away a better film. I mean, I think that's almost undisputable. But I would sit through Welcome to Marwen again before I would sit through this.
I think, so here's my thing. This movie is not meant to be enjoyed. This movie is meant to be experienced. And they do a really good job with that. It's very, very, very interesting to watch. It's like watching a train wreck. You can't help but keep looking at it, even though it's just so wrong. It's terrible. But man, it's so good. It's a very, very impressive, very well done movie. But there is definitely a reason that critics loved it and the audience was like, whoa. There are some scenes in this movie, many scenes in this movie that are just bizarre.
Some of them are just bizarre, some of them are brutal, some of them are both. All of it is uncomfortable. There was maybe one scene where I was like, okay, that's kind of cute. That's it. It was... So I knew going into this was going to be extremely unsettling because you could tell by the trailer, and I told Tanner, I'm going to go see it, but it's going to make me freak out a little bit. And I am in a weird place right now because that movie was crazy. I mean, I did like some of the subtlety of it versus the very unsubtle movie we saw last week.
This whole movie is all subtle. That's everything about it.
I mean,
the subtlety is unreal.
I liked the idea of people, spinning their own webs and then getting trapped in it. There were some cool ideas at play. If I'm gonna go see a movie, spend 2 hours, which felt like 10 hours, I'm telling you, this movie felt like forever. I kept wanting it to end. I was just like, I don't care if there's a logical conclusion, which there wasn't. Just end. I was praying for this movie to end. It was only 2 hours. We've seen movies far longer than that. But it felt like the longest movie I've seen ever. And I think it was because it was so uncomfortable and because everything was so drawn out. And there were scenes that just went on forever. Way past what was respectable to the audience. But I have to agree. I mean, I think as a piece of art, extremely well made, extremely well done. Not a piece of art that I would ever put in or around my house, but yeah. And as far as recommending it to people, I wouldn't necessarily even tell people who like artsy films, although I assume a lot of people who like artsy films will say they like this, even if they didn't. It's one of those. I would recommend it definitely to people who are into more bizarre films. Maybe, I mean, like if you like The Lobster or some shit like that. I don't know.
Point is, I would recommend it to people. I really liked it. I would not let my parents see it, that's for sure. But because this movie does keep it really real. But I would recommend it. I thought it was really cool. Steven hated it, but admits that it's a good movie.
I thought it was well made. I hated the experience, and I think it was unnecessary.
It was very necessary.
For what? What did we learn? Right? Aren't you the one that we've shifted viewpoints over the?
We have. I don't know how this has happened. I'm saying that this is a very unique experience, and it's worth experiencing it because of its uniqueness. I know, crazy.
I think this experience was unnecessarily uncomfortable for me. Maybe it wouldn't affect everyone in the same way. And I have to admit, there were times in the movie where I was invested and I liked it, and
Sorry.
There was like the scene with like all the tackling and stuff. I thought that was really cute and really well done.
Yeah, for sure.
And it kind of expressed like they expressed love in some really interesting ways that are unfortunately very true. And I thought that was
They did that really. I loved all of those scenes. Those are really cool.
I thought that was good, and I think as I dissect this more, I'll find more things that I liked about it because they did everything so well. It was just hard. In the end, what the fucking fuck?
Okay, so this is the end of the review. We're saying we really liked it. We are now going to start spoiling the end of the movie. So if this is all you need to know about this movie, end it here because we're going to talk about the ending.
Stop watching.
Yeah, stop it here because we need to discuss the ending.
If you're going to go see it, get your shit in line beforehand in case you jump off a bridge after
For sure.
this movie.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I agree with that. Okay. Ending starting now. Put a little like in the corner. But well, yeah, anyway. All right. So the ending to this movie, what the actual fuck was that?
Okay. I got what they were going for before the rabbits came in.
Ooh, like what? What were you going for?
I mean, I can see how the rabbits play into it, but like, so, lady, the
Morgraine or whatever her name is. Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
The character was
The original favorite.
the original favorite
And the lover to the queen.
Rachel Weisz.
Yep.
Said before, when it looked like Emma Stone had won,
Mhm.
like, said, "You think you've won, but we've been playing two very different games." And I think what I understand that to mean is they actually, there was a scene where Emma Stone comes to the Queen after Rachel Weisz has been banished, where Emma Stone is basically looking over the books and it's like, I think Sarah has been taking money, $7,000, which I think by the standards of the day would just be
A ton
crazy
of money.
fortune.
Yeah.
And I think she actually did embezzle that. And I think Rachel Weisz was, I think her character was using the Queen's trust to use up what she could and then get out, because that life is miserable, being at someone's beck and call for sex and being someone's emotional support when they are completely unstable. And I think a part of Rachel Weisz did love the Queen, but I think at the end, when fucking Emma Stone is sitting there fingering her like forever,
It's a very long fingering.
long time, she's thinking about, like, she's gotten what she wants and this is her life now. This is it. This is what she worked towards, and she's fucking stuck finger fucking this bitch. Like, holy shit. And I get it. Like, that was cool. But then rabbits everywhere.
It kind of like, it's a mix of Emma Stone's face, like her utter dismay and disappointment with the situation, and then
Hold on. Hey, Mads. Okay, we're in the middle of a review. Can I call you back? That's not good.
so as Emma Stone is finger fucking the Queen, you see her face, which is in total dismay with the situation, and then it's kind of going back and forth between her like mind and her like disappointment and like the Queen's thought, which is just bunnies like drowning out her thoughts. Like, she wasn't thinking of anything.
And the bunnies represent 17 children that the Queen has lost because she just wasn't able to bear healthy children. She said some, it sounds like a lot of miscarriages, and then some would live past birth for a very short amount of time. So I can see how the bunnies came into play, but I think it was interesting the way. So right before the final scene, Emma Stone is like kind of throwing a party and just like being kind of a dick and just enjoying herself immensely, but then she gets called by the Queen, and it's like, it's the juxtaposition between her thinking like, oh yeah, like I run this shit, I win, and then having to sit there and finger the queen who's just screaming at her, and it's definitely very interesting.
It was wild to
And-
watch. All right,
and so-
that was terrible. I'm gonna do this again. Sorry, you're witnessing a man who can't parallel park.
Do you need me to do it?
I got
I like parallel parking.
No,
Don't hit that card. They don't like it when you do that.
I've heard this. This is
You know, it's weird. People are weird down here. Yeah, so don't know.
It's a very impressive movie.
Very impressive. Don't take your parents. Don't take your date. Don't take anyone. Don't go. No, I'm kidding. But like,
Go.
but know what you're getting yourself into, and don't. Just know it's going to be uncomfortable. There's a lot of very uncomfortable nudity.
Damn it.
There's a lot. There are whippings. You're gonna love it. Okay.
Everyone's gonna love it. It's great.
Take
Okay.
your kids. Take your wife. Goodbye.